How about the vibe out in Vancouver? I am picking up on it, and I appreciate it, and I like it because there's a connection between Vancouver and Toronto. Toronto's got more history, but neither team has done anything for a long, long time. I mean, the Canucks have been to a couple of Cup finals in the past 30 years, but they've never won it. The Leafs haven't been there in over 50. But in Toronto, like, when you start to turn it up, people jump on the bandwagon quickly and start to get a little bit carried away. And I saw a couple of our buddies from TSN Radio out there with a poll question this morning, which means it's very scientific and very important stuff, asking how many Canadian teams will finish ahead of Vancouver in the standings. And the majority of the votes were saying 0 Canadian teams.
Really?
I love it.
So they are committed
Well, it's
to
recency
Vancouver.
bias, but how do you argue against that?
They're not the best team in the country. They're not.
Right now they are. You want to bet another hunch on that?
Well, it's 13 games into the season.
Ahead of them too?
Yeah, Edmonton is ahead of them.
Yeah, I don't like
Edmonton's 2 points up, and Vancouver's got 2 games in hand. Vancouver's been very good. I'm not saying that they haven't been, but there's 70 games left in the season. Like, I'm not putting money on Vancouver being the best team in the country come mid-April.
I like their team.
Yeah.
I do. And I think Travis Green has done a phenomenal job.
Done a very good job. I think
Do you think they're the best team in the country?
Right now they are.
They could be playing the best. There's a difference because I think Draisaitl could be the best player in the world right now.
Right, but he's not actually the best player.
Right, but
His line mate's better
Is
than
he
him.
playing better?
But he's playing. That's
Absolutely,
what I'm saying. So
yes.
it's recency bias as opposed to looking at the big picture. You're saying 70 games from now, I think there's a little bit of regression there in Vancouver. I don't know if they can sustain this type of pace. Although the West is wide open. Like you're going through, I don't know if you and I were talking, remember we were talking about it on the show the other day. You're going through the California now. That's not the March of Death anymore.
In fact, you're looking
points
at
to be had.
You're looking at 3 wins there going through there. You're hoping for 5 or 6 points.
At least, like Anaheim gives you a pushback. LA doesn't. I watched them last night. They're
The mess.
They're a
not
mess.
very good, are
and
they?
San Jose's not very good right now. Now they can. I think San Jose has potential to turn it around, but who's?
I don't
gonna
think
do it?
LA does.
No, LA's a concern.
So we were asked on Leafs Lunch today about whether both Vancouver and Edmonton will make the playoffs. Do I think both will make the playoffs? And I said no, but I didn't have to define which one I didn't think would make the playoffs. I don't think both make the playoffs.
But I think based on what you're telling me, you think
I think
Vancouver
one of them does.
will. You think Vancouver will and Edmonton won't?
Concerned about Edmonton. They had a nice bump off. We talked about this last night. Nice bump off the coach firing. And now it's kind of an evaluation time for Tippett where he says, okay, everybody got a nice bump for the first 10 games. Now, what do the next 10 games look like? You know, James Neal lit it up for the first 10. Can he keep a flame going at some point for the next 10? This is when most of the evaluation is done for me after coach is hired, 10 to 30 in there. Because the first 10, somebody can play well for 10 games. They just can. And then they can say to the coach, yeah, that wasn't my fault. I'm really good. I just wasn't used properly, and you're using me differently, and you love me, and all those things that happened in the first 10 games. I hated that coach bump. I hated when you played a team that just got their coach fired, and they'd come out against you, and they'd be unbelievable. And you'd say, if you'd have played like that, you wouldn't be in last place.